Hee Jin has been caught lying about V has been excluded, J-Hope gets emotional, and more BTS news. But before we dive in, here's the funny moment of the day. Jin apologizes to RM. Recently, on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, Jin from BTS talked about coming back from his military service. The studio was buzzing with excitement, and you could really feel the warmth his BTS friends showed him when he came back. They even showed a photo of the group all together again, celebrating Jin's return, although they mentioned that Suga got there a little later than everyone else. The chat with Fallon got really funny when they talked about a memorable moment from the day Jin left the military. They talked about RM, who played the saxophone the whole time during the celebration. Jin, looking both amused and a bit surprised, shared that he was so overwhelmed with everything going on that day that he didn't even notice RM playing at first. This led Jin to jokingly say sorry to RM on the show, which made everyone in the studio and at home laugh. This funny story was loved by the audience, and many people talked about it online, spreading the happiness of that moment even more. Jin talking about this, along with his performance of his new song Running Wild, really made the show special. It left the fans feeling happy and showed how close and fun the members of BTS are with each other. Jin reveals the gift he received from Coldplay. During the episode, Jin also talked about some personal and work-related experiences. One interesting thing he mentioned was how much he looks up to the band Coldplay. He shared a fun story about Chris Martin, the lead singer of Coldplay. Jin said that during one of their meetings, Martin gave him a guitar from his tour. Jin even joked about whether he could keep the guitar, and Martin said yes. Now, Jin keeps this guitar as a very special treasure in his family. Jin also talked about how honored he felt to work on a song with Chris Martin in the past. Their mutual respect for each other was clear when he mentioned a video from 2023, where Martin talked about how much he admires Jin. Besides his music stories, Jin spoke about coming back from his required military service in South Korea. He also talked about his fun nickname Worldwide Handsome, and even showed Jimmy Fallon some dance moves from his popular song Super Tuna. During the show, Jin performed Running Wild, a song from his first solo album called HYBE. This performance was really eye-catching because it had a desert highway backdrop, which made the song even more interesting to watch. The album HYBE has 6 songs, including one where he worked with Wendy from the group Red Velvet. This album marks Jin's first solo project after many successful appearances on Fallon's show with his group, BTS. Over the years, BTS has had a lot of fun and memorable moments on the show, performing their hit songs and joining in on popular trends, which helped them become globally famous. Jin's recent appearance on the show was a celebration of his new solo work, but it also came at a time when other BTS members are still doing their military service. They plan to start doing activities as a full group again next year. Jin's main goal with his solo album is to share specific feelings and make his fans happy, which shows how much he cares about his fans around the world. Hee Jin has been caught lying about V. Recently, Hee Jin, who used to be the big boss at Adore, shared a story during a live broadcast about getting a birthday message from BTS member V. She said that early in the morning on December 16th, right after V started his time in the military, he sent her a message to wish her a happy birthday. This story caused a bit of a stir. Someone who watched the broadcast thought that V was getting special treatment in the military because soldiers are usually not allowed to use their phones whenever they want. This person was upset enough to make a formal complaint, saying that V broke military rules by using his phone at dawn. The military police from the 802nd Battalion took this complaint seriously and decided to check if the rules were really broken. They wanted to make sure everyone knew that all soldiers, even famous ones like V, have to follow the same rules. The military police looked into the situation and shared their findings. They explained that soldiers are allowed to use their mobile phones for 1 hour each day, but only during certain times like weekends and public holidays, and not in the early morning when V supposedly sent the message. After checking the facts, they found that V had used his phone in the afternoon, which is allowed, and there was no proof he used it at the time the complaint mentioned. They also looked into whether V was given any special chances to use his phone because he is a celebrity, but they didn't find any evidence of that. The military made it clear they couldn't share more details about V's phone usage because there are laws that protect personal information. Hee Jin threatens HYBE. Hee Jin also announced this Wednesday that she's leaving her job as an internal director at Adore. This means she is completely cutting ties with HYBE. She also shared her plans to start a legal fight against HYBE, claiming that the company broke some agreements they had with shareholders and did some things that are against the law. In her announcement, Min explained why she decided to quit and stop being a shareholder of HYBE. She plans to take legal action to make the company answer for what she believes are many wrong and illegal things they've allegedly done. This decision comes after a 7-month-long argument with HYBE, which started with what Min called an illegal audit by the company in April. Min says she tried to fix the problems and get Adore back to how it was before, but HYBE wouldn't admit they did anything wrong, which made her decide to completely cut off ties with them. She says that HYBE wrongly accused her of trying to take over control of the company and ignored her valid complaints about what was going wrong, choosing to focus on making money instead. The legal battle began when HYBE accused Min and the team running Adore of going beyond their duties and not doing their jobs right. Min fought back by saying that the real problem was about someone copying work related to New Jeans, which was a big part of the disagreement. After being fired as CEO in August by the board of directors at Adore, who also later voted against giving her the job back, Min was made an internal director. More recently, she stepped up her legal actions by telling HYBE she wants to use a put option, a move that would make the company buy her shares in Adore. Hee Jin owes BangPD money. Also, it's been revealed that Hee Jin has to pay back a really big loan of about $2.65 million that she borrowed from BangPD, the chairman of HYBE. She took this loan to buy an 18% part of Adore. This money issue came up while Min and HYBE were already fighting over other business agreements. But this particular loan is a separate problem. She got the loan back in March 2023 to help her buy her share of Adore. Some news reports got the price wrong, saying it was 1.1 billion Korean won, but the real amount she paid was the full loan amount of 3.7 billion Korean won. HYBE hasn't said much about this, because they consider it a private matter. Min's money troubles got even more complicated when she decided to use a special option to sell her part of Adore back to HYBE for about $18.5 million. This was all set in their business agreement. She made this choice right before she lost her job as CEO in August 2024, and then the agreement they had was also ended. HYBE even took her to court to make sure this ending of the agreement was official. What happens in court will really affect Min's money situation. If the court decides she's right, she'll get to sell her shares, which means she can easily pay off her big loan. But if the court sides with HYBE, she might lose her right to be a part owner of Adore and have to sell her shares for much less. This would leave her still owing about $766,000 even after selling her shares. Jin reveals how he created the song Super Tuna. On the show Jin service, BTS member Jin shared stories about his time in the military, how he makes music, and a funny story about how one of his songs came to be. Jin, who just finished his required military service, talked about his role as an assistant instructor at a training center in Yeonshan's 5th Division. He explained that his military experience was tougher than people might think and mentioned that Jin service was a favorite show among the soldiers. Jin pointed out that shows like this help soldiers feel a bit more connected to their normal lives back home, providing comfort and a sense of normalcy. Moving on to his music, Jin discussed his latest solo album called HYBE. He shared how he was very involved in creating most of the songs on the album, choosing the lyrics, themes, and music styles that felt right to him. His goal with HYBE is to make listeners feel joyful and thoughtful, reflecting his own path to finding happiness. One of the funniest parts of his interview was when Jin talked about how he came up with the song Super Tuna. Unlike his other songs that are carefully planned, Super Tuna happened unexpectedly during a fishing trip. Originally, they were just going to take pictures, but Jin thought it would be fun to make a song right there. This spur-of-the-moment decision turned into Super Tuna, a song that mixes Jin's love for music with his enjoyment of fishing, showing how he likes to bring fun into his music making. Jin's stories on Jin service gave everyone a closer look at how he handles being famous, growing personally, and meeting his military responsibilities, all while staying funny and creative. His visit to the show wasn't just entertaining. It made fans appreciate even more how hard he works and how much he cares about making his music true to himself and helpful to others. V has been excluded. On November 20th, an article by Osen, a Korean news source, really upset BTS fans, especially those who follow V. The article talked about all the music BTS and its members released during the year, but completely left out V's own music. This made a lot of fans angry because V has done a lot in his solo career, even while serving in the military. Even though V is currently in the military, he's still been releasing music. He released a new single called Friends in March of this year, after his first solo album Layover came out in September 2023. Layover was a big hit, reaching the top of music charts like Billboard and iTunes. It even won the title of Favorite Debut Album at the iHeartRadio Music Awards 2024 and got several other nominations. Fans were really upset and disappointed that HYBE, the company behind BTS, chose not to include V's achievements in the summary of the year. Many fans on X said that HYBE was trying to downplay V's success on purpose. Some fans called it sabotage and demanded more clarity about what's going on with V's future with the company. One fan said it was very strange that the article mentioned every other member's music from that year, but not V's. Another fan said they couldn't believe how HYBE keeps overlooking what V has accomplished. This situation shows there's ongoing tension between V's fans and HYBE. Fans feel that the company isn't giving enough attention or value to his work both in the group and on his own. They keep speaking out, hoping HYBE will treat V's work more fairly and talk about his music just as much as they talk about the other members' music. J-Hope gets emotional. A new video with BTS members J-Hope and Jin is making fans all over the world super happy. It shows them getting back together to do a dance challenge for Jin's song Running Wild. J-Hope and Jin are really good friends and always like to have fun together. In the video, they share lots of funny moments that go beyond just dancing. In this video, J-Hope and Jin do normal things, but make them funny. They dance while they look at magazines, drink coffee, and even as they get into an elevator. They manage to keep dancing through all these everyday activities. The video shows them in regular places like a coffee shop or an elevator, but their exciting dance moves make everything seem extra special. J-Hope got really emotional about doing this dance challenge with Jin. He said, "I'm getting emotional. I'm filming a challenge with Jin, because it's been a long time since they could do something like this together." This video is not just fun for J-Hope and Jin, it's also a big deal for their fans. They've been really excited to see the group back together doing things after the members had to take breaks for their military service. This video is a sweet reminder of how close the BTS members are and how much joy they get from doing fun projects together. Jungkook has a famous fan. The Backstreet Boys, one of the most famous boy bands ever, have shown their love for BTS again. At a recent Billboard party, Howie Dorough and AJ McLean talked about their favorite artists of the year. When asked who they thought was the top artist of 2024, AJ said he has become a big fan of Taylor Swift because of his kids, who are huge Swifties. But AJ didn't stop there. He added, "You know what? There are so many great new artists, but I was a big fan of Jungkook." This isn't the first time the Backstreet Boys have shared their admiration for BTS. Back in 2018, Nick Carter said that the group had a lot of respect for the K-pop stars. He also explained that they learned more about BTS through Steve Aoki, a famous DJ and producer who has worked with both BTS and the Backstreet Boys. Later that year, the two boy bands met in person. Their meeting happened at the Westwood One backstage event before the 2018 Billboard Music Awards. This moment showed the mutual respect and admiration between the two groups, even though they come from different times in music history. AJ's recent praise for Jungkook shows how BTS's music and influence continue to reach people of all ages and music styles. It also brings together two of the world's most iconic boy bands, showing how music can connect artists and fans across generations.